Hello, everyone. It is noontime here where I am. I saw someone say Happy Jupiter Day. Happy Jupiter Day, my favorite day. I'm Lane Smith. I'm an author, activist, tarot reader. Um, I wrote a book, 78 Acts of Liberation Tarot to Transform Our World, which was published by Sounds True last year. But the reason that I'm here at the Llewellyn conference is I have an essay, a personal slash political essay that will appear in a forthcoming book from Llewellyn that I'm super excited for you all to learn more about. It hasn't really been announced. I can't say a whole ton about it, but it's called Lives in Tarot. Wait, let me look at the subtitle. Lives in Tarot Inside the Temple of 22 Doors. And it's edited by Jane Meredith. And what it is basically 22 essays, one for each card of the major arcana, written by tarot authors. Oh, hi, there's my dog. Some of your faves. I can't wait for you to see who's in it. I'm so honored to be included in it. But they're really personal essays about us from our personal lives, like living these cards, right? And I was asked by Jane to write about the Tower, which is a pretty intense card. And clearly, I think part of why I was asked is because combining the personal and the political is something that I do particularly well. And for us, especially in the United States, I know everyone here might not be in the United States, but especially in the United States, we're really feeling the Tower in a big way politically lately. And so, I have a long history of political activism that I'm drawing from in writing about tarot and about the Tower card in particular, and also just personal experience as a transgender person. I didn't say my pronouns at the beginning. They are they, he. I'm a trans masculine person. And, it's a real hard time to be trans right now. It's the most emotionally difficult Pride month that I've ever had. It's really tough. And I brought a lot of emotion to this essay for this Llewellyn anthology that's coming out probably next year, like mid to late 2026. Is, things can happen in production. I can't guarantee an exact date, but you'll be looking for it next year. Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I so appreciate Jane Meredith asking me to contribute an essay to this anthology, because it was a really transformative experience for me to be edited by her. When I was looking for a publisher for 78 Acts of Liberation, I got some criticisms, some people who were not into it and saying things like, this is too intellectual for a tarot audience. Insulting. Yeah, and just, that it was emotionally removed. And it is that book is kind of, it's analytical, it's historical, it's drawn from, if you know about it, it's movement history, it's lessons from activist history. I'm 46 years old and I've been an engaged political activist since my early 20s. So it's a lot of looking back in that with some hindsight, right? And writing this essay for Jane for Lives in Tarot was really my first draft of it was similar. It was really taking this kind of removed, analytical, looking back perspective with politics as the priority for me, right? As is usually the case for me. And Jane was like, I'm not feeling it, I want to feel you and what you've gone through and not diminish what you've gone through. And she really got me to have to be emotionally present for this card, for this writing, in a way that I haven't been real as so open to being before. So it was a really an amazing experience. I rewrote the whole thing and came back, and she loved it. And I can't wait for you to read it when it comes out from Llewellyn next year. So I'm sweating. It is hot here. What we're here to talk about is tarot and social change. And I think that, a lot of you know me or my previous work. But if you don't, I hope it's clear, and you know that I don't think that reading tarot is the political action in itself, right? Just like when we are trying to make change in our personal lives, tarot leads us down a road, right? It could be down a road of further self-reflection and processing that we need to do. Or it can actually, I find it can advise like really concrete action, practical action, to things to actually do, not just reflect on. Although mostly what I see people using tarot for is reflection. And I also, in the wake of 2020 protests, Black Lives Matter protests, I saw a lot of people doing a lot of reading and reflecting. And it just like, I sort of like those two things together. It's like I see people reading and reflecting in tarot in the social justice sphere and not seeing a lot of action. And that is what prompted me to write 78 Acts of Liberation as a very like action focused book. And so I think I've come to be known as this extremely like action oriented person, but that doesn't mean that I don't value inner work and inner reflection. It's something that I do a whole lot of. I think that they have to go together, right? You can go too deep far in and stay stuck in self-reflection and processing and never move. And that's not good. Or, you can take lots of action and never learn from your mistakes or never do the inner work to be more effective. And that is equally a problem. So it's a dialectic between inner work and outer work always. And so I wanted to talk a bit about kind of like how tarot works when we're talking about tarot for social change. And I don't ever prescribe for people like the spiritual basis for how tarot works. It's not that it's not important to me, but I would never tell people where the messages of tarot come from. My work should be accessible to you for no matter what that is for you, whether you think tarot helps you access something that you already know deep inside. It's just a way of getting into your own like subconscious and intuition, whether you believe tarot delivers messages to you from your personal ancestors, from other spirits, from spirit guides, from local spirits, from God, from gods or goddesses, whatever it is that you think is bringing you these messages through tarot, that's wide open to me. It's everybody does that differently, and I think that that's great. What I'm talking about in my work is when we interpret those cards, what kind of language are we using to talk to ourselves about what we're seeing, right? And many of us are not used to using political language to describe our lives to ourselves. So I do focus a lot in my first book about language. I focus a lot on language and just sort of like getting some of that vocabulary of political language to help describe our lives so that we have other options besides just sort of personal responsibility options on the table, right? So like, I have problems at my workplace. Do I just need to work through how much I value myself based on my productivity? That may be true. It may also be that I need to take collective action with my coworkers, right, to change the workplace environment. Like both of those can be true at the same time. Which answer are we more likely to get from tarot if we're only speaking to ourselves using the language of really like self-help, personal psychology, spirituality, then we may, why am I, okay, there's no problem. All right. We may only arrive at advice that brings us to personal reflection. But if we use other language about the causes of problems in the world and how to address them, like political language. And when I say political, what I mean is our understanding of how power works in the world. A lot of times we're told politics is only the realm of professional politicians, and that is just like convenient for them for us to believe that. But power looks a lot of different ways, and we all are entitled to and have our own views around how power should be used and how it should not be used. So thinking about power, thinking about politics, and using some of that language to describe even our day or just the circumstances of our life and what's going on with us, can open up more possible options and language for tarot to speak to us, right? Another aspect of reading tarot, I think, is also not just language, but experiences. I don't know about you, but I'm like, for astro folks, I'm a quadruple Sagittarius. I am someone, you cannot tell me anything because I will be like, that may have been true for you. I don't know if that'll be true for me. I have to try it to know, right? I have to do it myself, and I have to learn from experience. And the way that I conceive of learning tarot is like, yes, of course you have to start with some language and keywords as of just a real basic kind of grammar of tarot to know one card from another, but really just reading tarot throughout your life and having experiences collect around each card is what helps you learn the cards. And like it's a give and take kind of thing where like that informs the meaning of the card helps you understand your experience, and back and forth and back and forth. So I also think it's important to have a great diversity of experiences in your life. I think a lot of people struggle with reading tarot because their life isn't diverse enough in terms of what they're experiencing from day to day. You try to do a card a day and you get a different card each day, but your daily life is like wake up, get ready for work, sit at an office all day, go home, eat dinner, watch TV, and go to bed. And that's the same thing every single day. That's not a lot of texture in your life to attach to different cards. It's hard. It's not that it may not offer you something. It probably can and does, but it's just like when you're first learning, it's not high contrast. It's not like when you're learning to read as a child and you've got big bold pictures and simple words and high contrast kind of things that make things so clear, right? And if you have more different experiences and you're pulling cards to like see which cards connect with those experiences, and that keeps building through, ultimately decades of your life, you'll have a very rich understanding of tarot and you will have a very rich life. And there will be more, you'll have this library of experiences that tarot can tell you about and remind you of. And that's what my intention with my first book was, not to say, oh, here's a bunch of new keywords, political keywords for tarot, but just to show you how I draw from my experience, things that I've studied and learned about history, yes, and things that I've done and been involved with that help inform how I read tarot now. And the idea is for you to do the same. And so it's just like many people don't have a lot of political, social change oriented experiences in their life. And it's like, just to make an analogy, it's like, I'm sure many of you who read tarot will have someone like ask you about their love life, right? When will I find the love of my life? And it's like, and they are sitting at home and they're not meeting anybody and they're not, being social in any way. And they're like, when will I meet the love of my life? What are you doing to meet anybody? Nothing, right? And it's just like, you have to have experiences in your life to even know what's going on with you, to know what the problem is, to know where you're going. And it's the same thing with social change and politics. It's like I would advise anyone to, yes, be open to having tarot guide you about what to do for social change, and also just go have more political experiences. And I don't even care I do care what they are. Don't join some Nazi rally, obviously. But like, if a political experience can be talking to your family member about their transphobia, it can be going to a rally, it can be organizing a fundraiser, it could be any number of things. And I'm about to be talking too long, so I was gonna pull a card, but I think it's I would rather let you all have a chance to talk and ask questions. So yes, I have the Numinous Tarot here. and it's Pride Month. I wanted to show you a deck from a queer creator. This is an indie deck, the Numinous Tarot by Cedar McLeod. Numinous Spirit Press is my most used deck. It's a really beat up deck. But just to like show a quick example and then let you all talk, I just wanted to sort of ask something like, I don't know. I think people are getting closer to making connections about how everything is related in terms of attacks on trans people, even though we are such a tiny minority. Why do they even care? And they want to make us like the right wants to make us like the big cultural problem of society. And it's like it's yes, tarot for no kings. So this weekend, where I live in Baltimore, it's the No Kings protest. It's also the like big corporate sponsored gay pride at the same time. And the big corporate sponsored gay pride displaced and canceled trans pride, which had been previously scheduled, and they're usually on separate weekends. So there's no trans pride march this year, which is devastating to me. And I just feel like people need to be thinking about these things together and not it's too much of this like, oh, I'm gonna stay in my lane and do this over here. Like that is important. Like both things are true, right? Stay in your lane, focus on one thing can be helpful. And like having siloed protests where it's like this one is about this thing and we're not going to mention transgender people, and gay pride is going to shove trans pride aside this year, and all of this kind of like, how can we be more intersectional? How can we bring it all together? I think people are seeing the connections, but I feel moved today to just try to pull a card to ask like, what is a card to guide us to be more effective in bringing all of these together? Because it's not that like trans rights are a distraction from the ICE raids or vice versa. It's all about, fascists in power targeting the people that they think everyone else will turn their back on most easily, right? And unfortunately, I feel that people have turned their back on trans people largely. So I just would like to see more of the like loving and caring and defending our neighbors that I see about the ICE raids, which is beautiful to see. We haven't seen for Black people who have been victims of police brutality in the way that we need to see. We haven't seen people like putting their bodies on the line for trans people. So anyway, not to just go on and on, but a card for bringing it all together, understanding it's interconnected, and being effective with that understanding. So I have the Lovers, and this is my favorite Lovers card of all Lovers cards, because it's not two people, right? Love doesn't have to be the romantic ideal of a monogamous heterosexual partnership, right? Hopefully you can tell. This is my favorite card in this deck. I'm so pleased to pull it and show it to you. It's, there's all kinds of love, community love. And this could be a polycule. It could be a community. It could be any form of love, a family. It could be a family. It's any form of love. The Lovers is associated with Gemini, and Gemini is most known, right, for its people say duplicity, but like multiplicity, right? It's like many things true at once, which is something I've been saying like the whole time today, right? Many things true at once, and there's not a scarcity of love to have around that, right? Our capacity for love is not limited. It's the more we exercise it, the more it grows, I think. And so, this card is often also seen as a card of choice. In my book, 78 Acts of Liberation, I talk about accessibility a lot with this card and the 504 sit-ins, because that was such an example of solidarity between Black, disabled, queer folks all together, working around disability rights, since disability is something that can affect absolutely and does affect absolutely anyone. And so that's the kind of solidarity, exactly, from like the 504 sit-ins. It's exactly the kind of solidarity I would hope to see. But anyway, just an example of like using some political language to talk about a card that you see all the time. Maybe you're used to only talking about it in like a romantic relationship context or even a self-love context. Um, but I'll shut up and let you all talk for the last 10 minutes or ask questions or whatever. I guess let me look through the chat. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Looking for lots of discussion, which is awesome. Are there particular cards that you meditate and work with often besides the lovers? Yes. I had like, yeah. Let me think. I mean, most recently, I was processing the tower a lot for this essay for the Llewellyn book. Um, and it's just something that you think about a lot as, you know, gosh, as the LA uprising is happening and that's real, but at the same time, like people are using AI to make it seem like LA is burning and they're the people who didn't really give a shit when LA was actually burning from the wildfires. And it's just, I don't know, it's just like, yeah, I think about archetypes in the tarot a lot just whenever I look at the world. Almost like reverse, not like I take this card and I'm like, this is the card I'm going to focus on now, but like when I look in the world, I'm like, what tarot cards do I see when I look, kind of. I mean, it's good to do both. I think I just in a gender kind of way, I like the knights a lot, and I just like work with the knights a lot around like gender euphoria, but also like addressing like toxic masculinity stuff. Um those are the ones that come to mind at the moment. The chariot is my birth card, so it's something I'm always thinking about. Cancer is the sign associated with the chariot, and like Cancer and Sagittarius are in like the wheel of astrology signs that don't really see each other. I'm a big time Sagittarius, but I love right now that Jupiter is in Cancer and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, and I've been like trying to get my head around that, like the relationship between Jupiter Sagittarius and like Moon Cancer stuff. And I think tarot is helpful for like I really like tarot and astrology are really inseparable for me. So like, yeah, with the astrology of right now, I find tarot cards that are related, like the chariot, to be useful in like processing some of the astrology. Your birth card, you just like add the digits of your birth date and the number that it reduces to is the number of the major arcana card. Let's see. What inspired me to mix tarot and astrology? Actually, like if you look at my book 78 Acts of Liberation, I have a critical history of tarot in there that is like tells you exactly why I think tarot needs to be reconnected with astrology. A lot of the history of tarot has been to try to elevate it and separate it from lowbrow like divination and fortune telling. And there's a lot of like class and race politics involved in that. And I'm not going to go off because I could just yap about it forever. But if you look at the critical history of tarot chapter of my book, I talk a lot about like when and how those things diverged and why, and how I feel that like bringing tarot back to connection with astrology instead of like being like, oh, I don't do fortune telling, oh, that's, you know, lowbrow or whatever, is like redressing some injustices in history around how tarot has developed. I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it there. yes, this was the Numinous Tarot. Numinous Spirit Press, I believe, is the website, and Cedar McLeod is the artist creator. Um, tell you about my shirt. This was a fundraiser during 2020. That it was for like Black and Pink and the Okra projects of like trans people of color organizations. It says no justice, no peace, and we've got, of course, the justice card and the tower, and like really tiny, you probably can't see, is in Roman numerals the date of George Floyd's murder, and it's being held by this black hand with like long, beautiful painted fingernails breaking out of chains. So yeah, it was a fundraiser. I think I got it on like Bonfire. It was just like a print on demand like fundraiser thing in 2020. Yeah, to benefit some trans folks of color organizations. No peace. Yeah, it's the tower. It's the tower. Yeah, I think. Oh, specific, diverse decks. Yeah. I really, Charlie Claire Burgess just made a Marseille deck, Tarot de Marseille style deck, the gay Marseille, which I think is so fun and vibrant and diverse. Let me think. I don't know why I'm like blanking out. One of my favorite decks is Tarot of the Cosmic Seed by Lilania Simone. I believe if it's not out yet, it is coming out with a mass market version. Arwen, can you ask your question again? I didn't see it. Let me. I don't see the question. Sorry, what is the question? What are your thoughts on how to get better diversity in cards? I see diverse decks. Not all humans are skinny. Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. Do you know the Fat Folks Tarot? That is a beautiful deck. It's a collaborative deck. It's not one artist, but it is so beautiful and so and diverse in like and racially diverse, race, gender representation, age, and all of that. That's all Fat Folks. It is beautiful. And but I agree, a lot of times diverse decks are diverse on like one axis. And I think advocacy, like what I'm trying to say in my book, is like we may not feel that we can change like the whole entire world, but we can for sure change the tarot world. We can put pressure on publishers and artists and each other, right? Writers, reviewers, readers, to do better, right? Like I think we should feel confident that we can make change in such a small world sphere. Like the tarot world is quite small, where a single voice can make a huge difference. Yeah. Like don't be afraid to speak up. And tell people what you want to see. This the Numinous Spirit deck also has a range of abilities represented to but I agree that like disabled representation is lacking. I would like to see more trans representation than what I see. There's lots of room for lots more decks, right? And like no deck is going to get it perfect. And that's not the point, right? It's like, and it's not the point that like, oh, trans people have trans decks and black people have black only decks. It's like, yes, it's good to have those options too, and other people should, like, everyone doesn't need to be in their own silo either. Like, we want to see, there's room for so much, right? There's still so much room for so much more. um yeah. Well, thank you all for the chance to speak to you today. I can't wait for you to see the book from Llewellyn. I hope it'll be next year. No, cross fingers, no production issues, and you'll see it soon. It's exciting. The other folks are, I'm sure, some of your favorites. They're some of my favorites. You're gonna love it. Thanks. Thank you.